Clash Royale.
Welcome back, guys. We're about to get into game number 5, or rather set number 5 here, between these two last players, the two remaining players. It's going to be TY versus Reality, the rematch.
The rematch. Reality got stomped last time by TY's drops. His multitasking, his harassment really tore him apart while he's going for this slower mech style. That's not to be said about what Cure was able to do to him. He didn't really find any holes in his play. I also feel like Reality really tightened up his defense from the first series to the second one there. So, who knows? We've seen a lot of crazy things tonight. Maybe Reality pulls off an upset, one of many we've already seen tonight, and gets out over Reality. Unlikely, but possible.
Definitely possible. I give him like a 28% chance here against TY. TY kind of bopped him in the first one, and it seemed like he kind of had his number. And you have to consider that Reality just played a full series against Kerrigan and get another TVT. So TY is just getting more and more information about how to take this guy apart. So still favoring TY heavily here, but Reality, maybe he can come into this match, maybe even throw in like a crazy thing, because Reality's basically done the same thing in TVT every game. Slightly different openers perhaps, but generally pretty similar. Maybe he's like, no, I'm just going to go for some crazy thing. Some Reaper build, some very aggressive early game build. Maybe like Cloak Banshees once again, proxied or something, really try to catch him off guard. Because you got to do something when you're going up against a Titan like this.
Sure. Really anything goes. My biggest fear for Reality is that he keeps showing us the same style every game. This was one of his weaknesses in Heart of the Swarm once people figured him out. Even in Wings of Liberty, when he was one of the only meching Terrans versus Zerg. Go look up Reality versus Sulky if you don't believe me. I do feel like this is somewhat predictable in this all-Terran group where he's literally playing one matchup because Patience is already out of the group. He's struggled with that style. Is it time to play Bio once and see how it goes, or is it time to, or is he just going to stay with what he's comfortable with? Because there's downsides to both. If he just keeps playing Mech, he could get countered because TY knows how to play against him, has already beaten him with that. But if he plays Bio, maybe he's only been practicing Mech. Maybe his Bio play is not as good. So it's kind of tough to say either way. I think the key is to tighten up his defense, just like he did versus Cure. Hold those bases.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go for the same thing here, go for that mech style. And Frosty was successful against Cure, doing the same thing, make a bunch of turrets on the edge of his base. Let's see if he can do the same here against TY. Game number 1 on Frost.
Never forget me now. Enemies clawing at my eyes, I stretch and bleed just to stay alive, yeah.
Welcome to Frost once again. These guys are at crosswinds. Down the bottom left in the red, it is TY.
And his opponent to the top right in blue, it is Reality. And will survive that loser's match, taking out Cure. Dunking Cure down into the 4th place spot in this group where he was, in my opinion, the favorite to get out in 2nd place along with TY.
And that would have been an interesting kind of situation where Cure goes up against Dark and TY goes up against Zest once again. Had everything kind of gone according to plan, right? But not going to be the case. Patience really messing things up in the group, gets out in first, and Cure really it wasn't his day today. And
yeah.
It's hard to say. Sometimes the Korean players aren't too comfortable with travel, but he has had like 3 days to kind of recover and practice since he did go to China. I think he should have been, adequately rested and ready to go for this game.
Oh, I want to talk about the build that TY is doing, because this is a build that we saw in TVT, even at the very first GSLs. We were starting to see players figure out this build. Nada was doing it. Into the Rainbow was doing it. Ensnare from OGS, kind of pioneering. Ensnare especially was very famous for this, is going for a CC first and then holding anything that you encounter. Now in Heart of the Swarm, this kind of fell out of favor because Reapers could be made without a tech lab, and it became the standard, and you get punished when you do this. But on this 4-player map, and lucky as TY is at cross spawns, he can bring back the CC first into Barracks double gas. Because you just go straight into the factory right afterwards in TVT, you basically can get away with it if they don't attack you. Your tech is only slightly behind. Like, look at the factory timings on the production tab. You can see he's only about 2/3 of a factory behind. And yes, Reality does have a Reaper here, but all it does is deny a scout.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind that Reality went for gas first, too. So it's about the fastest factory you can get. It is actually the fastest factory you can get, so. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It's a nice risk to take on a map like this. Perhaps if, you know, Reality proxied 2 racks in the middle of the map, 3 racks, and just went crazy all in, then he would die. But TY's taking that risk. He's like, yeah, I think that happening is about a 2% chance because you're Reality and it's this map. And especially because there are cross spawns, even if he did go for that kind of build, there's still a chance that TY could have held it off too. So he's going to get ahead slightly in this game for sure.
Debo not actually going to block the Reaper like he wanted. This is a great scout for Reality. He sees how late the starport is and goes instantly into Cloak. It's the fastest possible Banshee as well with the Tech Hub already pre-made here. But the Cyclone that's coming out here at cross spawns will be ready well in advance. He's getting a Viking as well. The only thing that TY is really missing is an engineering bay. He has the money for one. He should add one soon. And if he has all of that up and or a saved scan, this is going to be tough to find damage with this first Banshee that Reality commits to. The worker count only slightly in favor of TY, but he had mules faster, and that's something that Reality will never be able to compensate for.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And you can see how safe TY is. I mean, Cyclone into Viking, into even a potential Raven a little bit later on. No, it's going to be a 3rd base. He's saying, like, we're so far apart, and even if you do get into the main and see this, I'm still going to have this very early on and just get even that much further ahead. I like this very greedy economic play from TY at these positions on this map, especially against a player like Reality. Reality is just so defensive-minded. You know, he could do small stuff like this, but he's probably going to be playing mech. I mean, we already see the 2nd factory on the way, so he is going, in fact, into mech. The scan does confirm this.
Yeah.
All right, well,
an earlier scan, it actually does not 100% confirm, but I think it's a kind of gives a reasonable assumption. This is why Banshee play across ones like this just doesn't work out very often. Especially if you're blind, you're going to make the he's blind preparing because he doesn't know what he's up against, and because he had so much defensively set up here, he feels comfortable with the risky 3rd. And it's not really risky because he made a Cyclone, multiple Vikings, he's got a Siege Tank here. He's totally safe. This turret finishes just in time for the 2nd Banshee. He will get several kills, and by several I mean 2. And let's see if he commits the scan. He might just let it burn. Oh, no, he's going to scan like you said.
There it is, kills that out here. And what are you going to do with these Hellions on the map? It's like, well...
this is risky, though. If the Hellions could isolate the Marines, they could definitely get a good trade here. The tank needs to be with them, the Cyclone as well. This is crazy. Not only did TY go for a massively greedier build and even a faster 3rd CC, and has the less mobile army, he's going to move across the map and attack.
I think he just knows how much Reality is committed to this only Hellions, and he's got 3 tanks and a Cyclone already, and all of the Banshees. So
this is not the first time either that he's done this tonight.
So he knows this. And now TY coming in, the tank of Reality going to get some nice pot shots there in the tank of TY, and all of his stuff is not together here. And so he is going to lose this fight at the top of the ramp and is going to be forced to back off.
I do feel that this definitely could have been better, but he's still getting a positive net trade. He has the rest of his army together here, but it's too late. He's going to back off. Both players dropping their 3rd CCs down. TY made his a little bit faster, but he's not mining as quickly as Reality is. He's already sent his SCVs over, and he's even starting his 5th gas right now. +1 started even faster than Stom. He's doing both now. And Reality just will not change his build. He's going massive Hellions, early game map control into second factory, blue flame, gets 2 armories.
Yeah.
And we've seen this already how many times today? 4 times? Yeah.
I mean, Reality, he came in prepared for TVT, right? We say sometimes if you got a couple of matchups to play or even just one, right, you could just go for like a million different builds. But when you're going up against TVT like this and you know you're going to be playing a lot, you just practice one specific style and you don't really switch it up. And it kind of makes sense for the mirror matchup too, especially for TVT. You can really just learn mech down to a T, and once you feel super confident in it, you just don't change it up. You're like, no, this is my thing. I am Reality. I am the meching robot. And I mean, it's kind of working out. He's ahead here against TY now in this game.
I do like that he's really committing to the plating every game, because the plating is just so good versus Marauders and Vikings. I can't really even overstate how good that is. So I'm happy to see that, because this is kind of a new phenomenon. Most people still were prioritizing the attack upgrades, but not so much here. The Cyclone has 5 kills. Definitely pays for itself here. Starting with the defense, but even got some damage done on the aggro. Second starport coming up here for TY with the reactor. He wants to pump out double the Vikings, control the air. And this looks like it's going to transition into the longer game that we were kind of expecting here in this TVT.
I mean, it's cross spawns Frost, our 4-player map in the pool, so not too unlikely in a TVT that you'd see something like this. It's going to be a test of even just mental fortitude at this point. I saw Reality when he got into the chat with TY. He's like, oh, this is really tiring. It's already 10 o'clock, and we're only now starting our TVT.
Ooh, this could do a lot of damage. There's the lineup. Only gets 2. Everything is in the red, though. I just looked at your monitor. I'm like, oh my god. I can't believe he didn't get like 20.
Yeah, it was getting close there.
Still gets a lot here. 7 in total, 5 more. But this could potentially get way more than 7. That sensor tower finishes just in time to spot this coming. Concussive shells are done.
Look at the setup Reality already has here at the top of the ramp. It's like, oh, I know you're coming. Gonna delay this here and give him some time to get the Hellions over to defend.
That concussive shell is sort of slowing the Hellions here. He's gonna just fight on this choke point so the Hellions can't get their maximum spread of damage. Actually gets an okay trade, even targeting down some Vikings here. He's trying to take control of the air. As mentioned, he made that second starport and is now going into Liberators with his Vikings. Interesting. We have seen a few TVTs decided in a weird way where Liberators kind of come and flank while the Vikings are all stacked up. And it does a lot of splash damage. It's a rare circumstance, but we do see it every now and then. So worth noting. Could also be used as a zoning tool when you have air control, because, you know, imagine Reality doesn't have air control. You put your Liberators up at the front lines. Reality can't really come up and kill them because you have Vikings that are going to deny that. So Reality also adding Thors, which we haven't seen too much of tonight, but we do see every now and then. Also going to help control the air. And oftentimes the ground too. I mean, it just depends on the situation.
I mean, Reality is just like it's like he's following his notebook build down to 200 supply. He's like, okay, once I hit 180, I begin to add Thors, really solidify my air control.
He's got a piece of paper taped to his booth. He's like looking over.
Yeah, now at 197 supply, it should be at about 11:10, 11:15. This is when I began to add my 4th base, my 5th base. So I got it all mapped out, man. Here we go, some drops coming in too. A bit of damage. It's going to be an annoyance here.
He should actually just lift those up and go to the main. All these tanks are unsieged. That's what TY is looking for. And guess what? He finds it. The tanks are still not sieging. He's not paying attention. Although, here comes the Hellbats. Looks like he wanted to bait this army to stay, in fact.
I mean, look at all those Marines. You drop those Hellbats and they get that insta-shot right when they jump out. This is a nice little move, though, into the 4th base.
Reality losing all of his Vikings, meanwhile, which means he can't do Hellbat drops like he was doing before. Okay, here come some Thors. Looks like TY needs to respond. I can't believe we're seeing Liberation Zones in this matchup right now.
The tank's on the right side. Look at that. He's trying to pick them up and drop them off, and the Liberators of TY on the chase.
Well,
Lots
this
of
is
medevac
definitely
over there, too.
a little bit sloppy by both players there on the right side of the map because the Liberators definitely could have done more, but he lost all of his Vikings for no reason. I know when I say with things like no reason, there's one guy's like, wow! But I mean, he was multitasking. He was multitasking elsewhere. Had he prioritized that instead of the 2 Marauders that were attacking the other base, then he might have found a little bit more damage there. As it turns out, TY takes a supply lead and forces Reality into quadruple Viking production to take back that air control. 2 sensor towers are up, and that's going to stop moves like that from happening as easily in the future. But even still, he needs to send a group of Hellbats over here to defeat this. He's actually fighting unsieged most of the time, which is scary, but it can lead to some really cool baits.
And another drop coming into the 4th base here. Gonna snipe the sensor tower, and that's more key than you would think. That actually opens up some drops into the natural, potentially. There is a building over there, probably a barracks. And now look at this, he pulls the army over as well.
It was really cool, by the way. He left 2 units there and sniped the rebuilding sensor tower and forced to cancel it. This is the kind of multitasking I'm expecting from TY at this level. He's killing it right now.
This is masterclass. This is what Reality actually cannot keep up with.
This is what happened in the previous series as well. Looks like he's accidentally targeting this planetary here. We'll back off. Looks like he's just going to kite against these Hellbats a little bit. Might even be able to take an armory or a depot here with him.
Yeah, and keep in mind that during all of this, he's producing all of his units back at home and taking another base.
And finally micros those Marauders.
Yeah. Look at how much damage he's getting. Reality just can't really keep up. Finally, he gets some units over there to deal with it. There's that base over there I was talking about. He's got another command center in the middle of the map, too, ready to go.
This is cross spawns. He's so ahead with this little tempo advantage he got that he keeps pushing across. He has rallied units all the way to the midpoint of the map. That's insane that he's just got that stream of units. I mean, it just goes to show how little Reality is able to touch TY in this game, whereas the opposite is absolutely really demolishing Reality through this mid-game. Now, the game isn't over yet. Reality could stabilize now. He's adding more Thors in here. Can you check the Viking count? Actually, I'm really curious to see who's really up ahead right now.
11 for Reality to 6 of TY.
And he has those Thors as well. In the tank count, I just want to see that too, because I'm starting to get the impression that
13 and 3.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the impression that TY is just trying to be more cost efficient, and he's like, oh, okay, make Thors and Vikings.
Yeah, he's got 3 tanks, but they're not with his army. Not sure exactly where they are.
I think they're just defending the key locations.
There's even down by his 3rd base rather, near his main. There's like 2 depots by that bridge and 1 tank. Just, you know, for defense to keep that area clean.
TY is making 6 more barracks as he's maxed out now, and he wants to, again, just be cost efficient with these bio units. He's just going to commit it here. He doesn't have boost anymore.
This is this drop I was talking about. It goes outside the range of the sensor tower, comes in, cleans up a lot of the turrets. He's going to draw a lot of the units out of position once again, and even if TY loses this fight, he's going to try to come in here and take some trades.
Full medevac full of Hellbats taken out here again. He keeps doing this. Now going for the armory. May stop +3 plating. Just going to back off, target down that dropped supply depot. These are the barracks I'm talking about, the 6 he just added. Probably just going to add 6 tech labs. Look for that in the production tab. Going to be in the near future. And TY is whittling down the bank of Reality very, very quickly. 2 reactors, 3 reactors, and 3 tech labs. So splitting it half and half here to keep the same ratio of units that he's building right now.
Still likes his Marines in the composition, obviously do the higher DPS here.
Yeah.
There's only 7 Hellbats now in the army. Maybe he's identified that too, and he's like, yeah, I mean, having a higher number of Marines is always going to be good.
I mean, that was literally the ratio that he had before. He was making 3 Marauders and 6 Marines. Now he's adding that exact amount.
Every base on the map too. It's like, yeah, I mean, we're technically split map, but I got there, you know, 10 minutes before you ever could. Reality's struggling to, you know, defend on 4 bases as TY just takes the whole map. This is what it looks like when a really, really strong bio player plays against a meching Terran.
Okay, gonna grab yet another medevac. There's a lot of Widow Mines here. I'm not sure if he actually got drilling claws.
Yeah,
I assume so.
He
okay.
did, yeah.
A lot of Vikings dying here for TY. Looks like he's not that concerned about it. Air control again in favor of Reality, but I don't think TY minds because he's going for this bio-based ground army.
It's almost like he wants to bait this army out of position and catch him while he's unsieged once again. Take note that there's units on the left side, and he wants to bait these units over to the left and then come from the back. He's looking for it.
The center tower sees it, though. He scans. As soon as he sees that blob of unity, he's like, what is going on? This is the center tower snipe squad.
Yeah.
He wants to kill that to remove the vision.
There's a tank and a planetary, so this time Reality is keeping note. He's going to try to draw the units once again over towards this third.
Ooh, he's concerned going to the main, but this army gets caught. Wind Mine's burrowing up at the front. Gonna get some nice shots off here. Just barely gets out of the threshold. Over here, dropping on top of these siege tanks. This base is almost mined out, but he's killing so many tanks. That's the key.
The trade is so good. Just killing so many SCVs. Comes back in. The Wind Mines are not there, and the tanks are not sieged. Gonna try to come in.
Almost pure Marauders here. It will get cleaned up, but this is so easily replaceable. You know, he's making 6 and 3. He doubled his production, now 6 and 12 on Marauders and Marines.
This planetary too. It's like, if this ever happens, I'm just going to delay your push by 30 seconds.
It's so funny. He's going to kill some SCVs. Well, this is like planetary. Normally, it's the meching player who makes the planetary versus the bio player. Well, this is the bio player making the planetary versus the mech player. My brain can't handle it. +1 for ship weapons finishes here for TY. Not that he has a single ship on the ground or in the air that can attack. He has 7 medevacs.
And the style for TY just really works out on this map too. You can't reinforce this tiny army. Look at how big TY's army
Vikings
is.
land way too late, and that should be TY taking game number 1. Hellbats come from the north, but it's too much damage sustained here already. Reality, he has this large army, but half of it is not even here. The rally of units for TY is quicker. He has a defender's advantage with bio. 6 Marauders, 12 Marines at a time coming out. This should be game over. Expect him to type out any second.
Stimming in, and TY not even messing around. He's like, yeah, I'll drop over here. Come in from behind. GG. TY taking a very clean game number 1. Doesn't seem too impressed with himself, but he should know that everybody else in the world is. Reality maybe not so much. Reality having a rough game there in game number 1. Just struggling to hold on. You can feel it, you know. He's got 4 bases and he gets there, but then he's just stuck there for so long, and TY's just all over him.
Yeah, I mean, he was really clean, as you said. I mean, this is... Wow, I mean...
Yeah.
It was solid.
Cool.
Get him a Mr. Clean sponsor. He just basically controlled the entire map. I think Reality needs to cheese or play bio or... Proxy Banshees or something.
If there was a map that he was going to play bio, I guess it would have been that one, right? You know, the cross spawns Frost. It's really hard to deal with that kind of mobility, and TY just took the whole map by minute 13, almost 15, you know?
King Sejong Station is going to be the next map. This is TY's best map.